kind of, hey, John, how you doing today?
Hi, Cheryl.
So I know we're also kind of competing with Real Connect today, but so here's kind of what we have in mind. And you're on our Virgin broadcast. So this is our first one. So we're kind of learning this all together as far as what people want, what people don't want. Okay. So what we're kind of thinking is, yeah, we're old school, and we're going to go over an old school technique, which is open houses. That, again, I do one every Sunday. And the other part too is, who here that are on camera thinks open houses are a waste of time? Because I get it all the time. Dave, open houses are a waste of time. They're only to pick up buyer. They're only for the realtor to pick up buyers. And who here kind of thinks that? Who thinks that open houses are from back when I first got started only, and we got all these social media stars and all that kind of stuff in order to get business? Is there anyone that just has a really bad taste in their mouth about open houses on the call? No, because you probably hear, because what was that?
I think they are. I was gonna say I think they are what you make them out to be. You know, if you're gonna sit there at the dining room table and just say, go look around, or are you gonna meet them, ask them why they're coming in, what's their, where they're at in their life, type of thing, and have a nice conversation with them, and that's a different story. But a lot of people just sit at the table and hand them a flyer and be on your way. I mean, what do you think? Type of thing.
Well, it's a very good point. Is that here's my perception of people that don't want to do open houses. They're lazy MFs that don't want to go in and put the work in for those 2 hours to go in and meet people. And I'm going to kind of tell you why I do them and how I make them an event. And also, I don't think about it as just, trying to pick up a buy or anything like that. Part of all this, you have to understand, remember, you have to understand.
Watch out for that.
Real estate is all about branding. Okay. And I use the term of, I use the analogy of Kleenex, right? If someone blows their nose, what do they blow their nose with? Most people will say Kleenex. And no, they blow their nose with facial tissue. But Kleenex is the brand name that has done such a great name of branding themselves that every time you think of blowing your nose, you use the term Kleenex. What our goal is as realtors, at least my goal and our goal, is when anyone's thinking about buying or selling real estate in the areas that we do a lot of business in, we want them to think about DMA Real Estate or David, right? And all these different things that we're talking about. One lead generation technique is not going to make your brand. But the one thing, and we'll get that on a future broadcast, is about branding, is you want to be consistent in your brand. But open houses are a great way to get in front of people. So let's
reinforce your brand.
So let's kind of go over. So I did some talking points, and what I want to do here is stop me, interrupt me if you've got questions. This is all be very interactive. No one wants to hear me talk. She thinks I like to hear myself talk a lot, which is I do. I have to admit. But I would rather hear you talk and help you. Okay. So when I go through something, and challenge me. If you think, Dave, that's BS, here's why. Let's do that. All right. And we can help each other out. So what I've done, if it's all right with you, is I've gone over what I think are some advantages to doing open houses. Okay. So my first one, and we've got all this written down.
John's
We didn't say anything. That's why we didn't say anything.
I'm from Chicago, but my kids go to Iowa. They didn't even get to Iowa. So I have a Legion.
Go Hawkeyes. One of my best.
Go Hawkeyes.
One of my best friends
Iowa.
has his degree from there.
I love Iowa. I was there this weekend.
There's some great places in Iowa.
Yeah. I grew up there, so.
And so in kind of the other part I want to talk, so we're gonna go over those things. And what I like to do is, what I think our goal is to try to talk about open houses for maybe a half hour. And then what I would like to also do is have you say about anything, open it up for, these are the things I'm struggling with my business. How can you help me with that? In let's help you with that too. So here are some advantages that I feel in why I do open houses. So the first one that I have is it's a great way to make belly to belly connections. She does not like belly to belly.
We're going with face to face.
Face to face, one-on-one interactions with people. And it also makes it much easier to make connections in person. I feel that I am much better when I'm in front of someone as far as asking them what their wants and needs are, what their big why is. So what brings you out today to an open house?
But they can't ghost you.
And then
Kind of have to answer.
And then the other part about being belly to belly too, or being person to person, that I don't think you can get from text, email, or social media is just the body language. So I am a purveyor of a reader of body language and a reader of people's actions. And you can tell if someone does not want to talk to you, they'll close themselves off, and then other people will mirror you. And so this is just a good way for you to be able to figure out, hey, and the other part too that I really want is you do not need to pick up every single person that comes through an open house. Be selective. It's a two-way street. Not only are they kind of checking you out to see if I want to work with you, you need to feel strong enough where I'm also having this conversation to see if I want to work with you. Okay. So that's, and then the other part about body language is people can't lie with their body. They can lie through their mouth and things like that, but where else can you get these one-on-one interactions? Okay. And the other part about the part that John made was open houses are what you make of them. It is by far and away, we'll get to it, my most productive 2 hours in my work week. Because I'm meeting people face to face. I do much better face to face. I can't stand the phone. I hate the phone. I don't like text messages. And I have a saying that the biggest way to miscommunicate with someone is to text or to email them.
We're just talking about that.
Yeah. And so that's why I like to get person to person. And until maybe about 5 years ago, I also wanted to do all my negotiations with people in front of them because I could read their body language and do that type of thing. So that's one of my first things. How yeah.
Take a breath, Dave.
How oh, that's all right, Helena. That's feel free to stay unmuted the whole time. So what are your takes on that? Who here does open houses, and tell us what you do and why you prefer to get face to face with somebody. Feel free to just.
I guess so I hear exactly what you're saying. I love to get belly to belly for everything you just said. In fact, I was just talking to somebody because a minute ago, and everything gets skewed in a text message, the context, the tonality, and it's crazy and wild how in like basically in blank thoughts breeds negative thoughts. So like, when you're alone and you don't know what's going on and you can't actually see someone's face, it's the interpretation on how someone interprets something. So, and when I do the open houses, I'm with you. I'm selective. I'm not gonna, I ask a lot of questions. Say like, hey, you want me to show you around or you want to look around yourself? It's totally up to you. I'm here if you need any questions. I try to keep it fun and light. And then if they want to engage, and I'll engage, but I'm not here to bombard and like I feel a lot of people today, they get so much spam and they honestly, I have people that come in and they're like, right off the bat, I don't want you to send me something.
100%. I think I think the key to all this is what I think you're kind of saying, and I'm gonna put words in your mouth, is the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd want them to do unto you. And if you don't really want someone to get in your grill, and make you feel uncomfortable, and one of the things that I do, there's a technique that I do, is so when they drive up, and let's say it's a sports car or something like that, and they're walking in, I go, oh my gosh, is that the 928 or is that the 941? And hey, stick shift or automatic? Oh no, it's an automatic. Oh no, you can't have a car like that and do a stick shift. And then I break the ice with something like that. Anything other than real estate, and then all of a sudden, and then we just get in a conversation about cars and things like that. And then we get to real estate. But I've already broken the ice, and they're like, hey, this dude's cool. I like this guy. I can work with this dude. And
Well,
it's
cool.
just,
I
it's
gave you a little bit too much coffee this morning.
this, I'm an introvert by nature, so you got me for 2 hours. For the 2 hours that I'm on, I'm like this. When I go home and crash and anyways, but that's the thing, is you want to try to create credibility, validity, likability. Another thing that we all want to do is, hey, I'm 6'4", 240 pounds, so I've got a presence. Do I use that? I have a voice that almost it's authoritative almost. Do I use that? Hell yeah, I do. Use what you got. But again, this is all part of the things of what we're trying to do, is make a genuine connection. And I believe that you can make a genuine connection with someone much easier face to face.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Oh,
Get anywhere.
you're right. And if I talk too much, or you so Kathy will usually kick me or something like that, just go like
I'm
this.
already kicked. I got some really pointy shoes on today.
The next one that I think, and tell me if you think this is right, why I love open houses now. No requirements to have a written touring agreement, and you don't have to have exclusive buyer agency contract. So who here feels like there's a little friction when you gotta go show a property and then immediately gotta say, well, you gotta sign this touring agreement or this EBA. It immediately creates some friction, doesn't it? A little bit? Isn't this a great way with an open house that we do not need to do that in order to have those conversations and face to face, and we can start to build that rapport without shoving something in front of them? And we'll
Yeah, I
also
don't
get
even
to,
know who did that in the first place, because that's the stupidest thing ever. When you go into a house, if you shouldn't have to worry about that. As a buyer coming in, maybe you're just curious for that house.
do you mean do you mean you shouldn't marry someone without dating them? We could have a whole seminar on my thoughts on this. You don't, I mean, but that will get us in the
fact
weeds.
is, it is the rule. You gotta kind of do it.
You have to
so-
do it. So take these opportunities where you can start to establish rapport with somebody without having to do that. Okay. And open houses are a way to do
Right.
that. So that's also one of the reasons why we're doing open houses, is it's an old school technique that becomes even more relevant today.
Well, I thought you were talking about, they were talking about having to have people sign an agreement before they looked at an open house.
No,
Yeah,
not
they
for
were-
open house.
Right,
No,
they were talking about that
What did you
initially,
say?
and that was so stupid, because then people aren't even gonna come to an open house. I absolutely agree that you have to have your buyer's agency signed, because that's almost like, if you don't do that, you're giving them the impression that you'll work for them for nothing.
And so the cool part too is that we're seeing more traffic through open houses because of the fact that, hey, I don't have to go through this
Right.
EBA or this touring agreement. So that's why I think they're even more important today than even in the past.
Okay, take a breath.
Yep. So
Wait,
no.
I'm gonna do this to him because he doesn't breathe, but
So
I was at an open house on Sunday with clients. Front foyer looked like a shoe store. There were probably 40 pairs of between, tennies, flip flops and Crocs in that house. Big house, mind you, so we could do it, but that's a lot of people in an open house on a Sunday afternoon. And it was insane. House still hasn't sold, which is kind of weird, but yeah.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, one in South Line, I had 41 through. So it's a great way. The number 3 is you get real-time feedback of the property and the real estate market, and you can find out directly from buyers what's going on in the marketplace. So if you have listings and you're trying to get feedback from other agents, a lot of times it's difficult to get that feedback. And then the second part of that is sometimes when the feedback gets to the agent, it's been filtered. If you've ever done that game where you start at number 1 and see what the communication is at person number 10, it's totally different than starting at number 1. I can get direct feedback on my listings of what buyers think. I can also get a feel for what the market's doing. Are people scared of interest rates? Are people scared of the economy? Are people scared of such different things? I can get direct feedback, unfiltered, and get that back to my listing client if it's my listing, or just for my general knowledge. And I think everything about real estate is you should always be learning. You should always be getting information. You should always be learning about your market and having knowledge of your market. I don't think there's a better way to get knowledge of your market than an open house, directly from the consumers who are buying and selling. Would you agree?
Agreed.
Any pushback on that at all?
No, I have a couple of questions. Maybe you're going to touch on them later.
Sure, well, just ask them.
So I usually do like a feedback form at the end. I know a lot of people like to sign in. I feel it's very pushy. I don't want to argue with somebody when I just met them. So we just kindly asked to do a feedback form because obviously the seller wants to know who's gone through the property. Any suggestions or any other
Yep. And
things
that
we
was
can
one,
do?
and that was one of our things that we'll get to as far as steps to a successful open house. But I think that question right there is the crux of a good or a bad open house. So let's get right into that. And Kathy and I were talking about before this is that sometimes do as I say, not as I do, because I have tried it a bunch of different ways. So early on in my career, I did not use a sign-in sheet, period. End of story. I understand the security aspect and you want to know who is coming through and things like that. But I got a lot of resistance, and I'm all about no friction. I'm always trying to create no friction and let the buyers just come in, feel at ease, and yeah, to shove a sign-in sheet in front of them when they first come in, I personally don't like that. And again, golden rule, I would not do that. Now, one of the things is with new technology, and this is one of the whole old school, new school, is now you can do a QR code where they can just do the QR code. So I have tried with sign-in rate with no sign-in at all, just trying to just do create connections. And then I would do pullbacks or holdbacks, meaning would you like the seller's disclosure statement on the property? Yeah, that'd be great. I don't have that here. Could I just leave your email address here? And if you want to leave your phone number, I'll get that over to you. Or I'll just talk to them and, hey, have you looked at many houses? Is this the area that you're kind of looking at? Are you looking at condos, looking at houses? And, would you like, and that sounds like a sales thing, but would you like to just have me set up a search for you so you can kind of get a feel, what's on the market right now? And then as new listings come up, you get first dibs on those properties. But I would really go into trying to get to know them. Then I would ask them that, and then they had no problems giving me the information. Then I went to, you sign in right up front. I think it's important for us to get the information. The number one thing, we got some new agents here. I'm going to tell you the number one thing you want to do as a realtor. the number one most important part of your business is going to be your CRM, your contact management system, and the people that you know that might buy or sell real estate through you. And if you don't have those in writing right now, after you get off this call, go write them down. If you don't have a CRM, if you're with Real, Lofty, we use Follow Up Boss. You can do it on an Excel spreadsheet. You want to put down every single person you know that might buy or sell real estate. And then every time now you do an open house, you get a floor call. Do they do floor anymore? Any of these
We don't.
things, your number one priority should be filling up that CRM and that database. And if you want to be in real estate long term, that database will feed you 75% of all your business moving forward. I guarantee it. Okay. So getting back to why the sign-in sheet is, I need to start feeding my CRM. And then I didn't like the friction when they first came in, and some people would say, and it created friction at the beginning. So now what I do, and again, I want to hear everyone else's view on this. I do it at the end. I let them walk through, tell them a little bit about the house, have them walk through the property. And at the end, I kind of say, hey, if you wouldn't mind leaving your contact information, seller just wants to kind of know where people are coming from. As far as they're just curious, are they coming from Detroit? Are they coming from Kalamazoo? If you won't mind leaving that, and I even say, if you don't want to leave your phone number, that's just fine. I just kind of want to know where people are coming from, and an email address would be wonderful. And that works out extremely well. And I'll follow up with an email, and I'll get one or two people that just like the way I did my business and I didn't get in their grill. And they say, Dave, I would like to work with you. And a lot of times they call me. So that's how I do it. How do y'all do it?
I don't ask. I in general, people come in to open houses and half of them are trained. Oh, do you want me to sign in? Sure. Let's look at the house, and they will eventually sign in. You don't, just no pressure, no, nothing. It's there for them. And it has the QR code at the bottom, and it says, hey, you want to do this? I'll catch it there. You don't even have to take out a pen, God forbid, and do anything. You can, and then it's right into it goes straight into our CRM, mind you. If you use Follow Up Boss or Lofty, it's a technology that's already there to print. It's great. It's a great option, but it's just, again, you're just making conversations. All there is to it.
And I think that's the key, is there's no right or wrong answer to how you have people sign in. If you have them sign in, I think it's important today. And part of the reasons why I think it's also important today to get all that contact information is AI. Okay. And what you can do is you're going to have some people that will leave their information, and it's not the people that you would necessarily, but if you put their contact information, like in Follow Up Boss, we have AI where it's someone that it sounds like it's coming from us, keeping in contact with those people. And my philosophy on your database is I would put your databases into basically 4 sections as far as any new buyers coming into it. Would be A buyers are buyers that are going to be looking to transact with you within 1 to 3 months. B buyers are anything under 6 months. C would be anything 6 months to 12 months. And then D buyers would be 12 months plus. And what I would do is your C and D buyers, or even your D buyers, I would put them on an automatic or some type of AI system where they're being contacted. It looks like it's coming from you. So it's an information business now. And so that's one of the reasons why I get more. But nothing is going to replace that, making a connection. That your number one focus should be trying to make a connection.
Oh, heard. I teach and train to conversation, and I think everybody's here is from Real, and it's all about Conversion starts in conversation.
And how many conversations does it take to get a client? 12 or 13 is how many conversations. So as many in conversations you can have. And the other part too is when we start talking about introverts and extroverts and things, an extrovert goes out and socializes a lot, probably has a lot more conversations. I will confuse you because I'm an introvert. So why do I like open houses? Because it's a controlled environment for me where I can meet people. Myself in a social environment, I'm not as comfortable in those environments. So we all have those aspects that we have to look at as well. But I can fake it. I can fake it where I look like I'm an extrovert, but going out to parties and things like that, which is the easiest business you can get, that is not easy for me. So we all have to figure out our strengths and weaknesses as well. So the next one I've already kind of talked about. It's literally the 2 most productive hours of my week are those 2 hours. So I'm trying to, have meaningful conversations with clients. I am finding out about the market. If I don't have somebody in there, I'm communicating with clients of mine, my sellers, people that I'm looking to do business with. If I have offers on the table and stuff, I'm communicating for 2 hours. It is the most productive 2 hours of my week, period.
Mine's driving.
The next one is so I think Lena and Jessica are just starting to do think about open
Business.
houses and doing business. So what is the long term? And we'll get to it's of certain things that you can do, and it gives you an excuse to be able to contact your sphere of influence, maybe potential people in the area. And people love it when you call, like, let's say you see someone and you're gonna put up some open house signs and you see a neighbor and say, hey, just so you know, I'm be holding this house open on Sunday from 1 to 3 o'clock. And we're going to get into some like circle marketing and stuff too. And then, hey, come see what's going on in your neighborhood. Just so you get a feel for value. Even if you're not thinking about buying or selling, come and see what's going on in the neighborhood. The other part that I find is that the neighbors are some of my best sources of leads. Come through and take a look at it, and you may run into someone that's thinking about buying or that looking to buy in the neighborhood, and you'll have seen it. So, and then the other part is, so your center of influence, you're new in the business. What do I send my center of influence? What do I send these people? Hey, I just wanted to let everybody know I'm holding this house open and I'm going to be here. Hey, just stop by and say hi. I'm going to have, cider and things. Just come by and say hi. You got a couple minutes. And it's just another touch with your center of influence.
Fine, say hi. Anyway,
So
Keep going,
it gives you a reason to contact people, and people go, it's something of value. Always provide something of value. And then number 6, it's one of my best listing techniques. Who gets listings off open houses here? Who would think that you get listings off open houses? This year alone, I've gotten 7 listings from open houses. And you want to know what they all say? Are you Dave? Yeah, Dave Mueller. You do a lot of business, don't you? I think so. I mean, I pay the bills. I'm not broke yet. And they go, I'm just surprised to see you at an open house. And I say, I love doing open houses. It's just, you know what? I love what I do. I love my job. I get to find out what's going on in the marketplace. Well, Dave, we've been thinking about selling our home. Would you mind coming over to the house after the open house and maybe do a market analysis for us? Oh, okay. And I just had one where I could not sell this house. I could not get a showing on this house, right? I held it open personally every single Sunday. Finally got someone that came through and bought it at the open house. The same open house, I had someone come through and they said, it's not quite right property. But Dave, I was just basically out, looking for a realtor to sell my house. So the open house, I sold a $375,000 house. I got the listing of another house about a mile away. And then someone saw that I got that one under sales contract in 24 hours within the neighborhood. They called us to list that property. Where did all that business come from? An open house.
Houses. Good job.
So it's being out there is just, again, and you're having those communications and, and they like people that are out there working on a Sunday. I can easily just be on my couch watching the lines for a couple of hours, but I would rather be in an open house with that information, getting business. So, and that's 32 years in the business. 32 years in the business. I personally do not work with buyers. I personally don't work with buyers. I'm starting to work with a few buyers now, but I will get a buyer and then I'll hand to one of my buyer's agents now. So anyone that says they're only pick up buyers, bullshit. That's my professional term. All right. So let's talk.
Take a breath and see if anybody has questions or anything.
Yeah, I mean, any questions up to this point?
Apparently I've become the mediator.
Do you-
Yeah, that's good.
Do you
Yes.
have lenders come with
I
you
need that.
to open
No.
houses?
No,
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes if they're willing to come, why not? What's it gonna hurt? It's not gonna hurt me. Because
Right,
I'm
because
only gonna pick
sometimes
a
you-
really great lender.
Right. Sometimes you have buyers that come in that haven't been pre-approved. They don't even know where to start. And it's
Never
like,
heard of
hey,
anybody.
you know,
and I think it's a good idea that you get a lot of the lenders that want to give you a rate sheet or what current rates are doing, what the price or the payment would be. I think those are good. I think if your lender wants to come with you, I think the other big aspect of real estate that we all want to do is it's not just picking up clients and having clients to sell stuff. We want to start establishing, especially when you're new in the business, you want to start establishing relationships with vendors. So we've got one lender that he's probably done 500 loans for clients of ours. We have a title company that's done over 3,000 deals for us. We have a painter that we use that we worked with for 30
He's
years.
wealthy.
Yeah, he makes more money than we do.
Us.
But these are all people that are part of our start making those relationships at an early time. So when you want to do like a client party or you want to do something where they come in and they'll chip in some money for it too, and you can cross market, okay? And then
Get
the other part,
referrals from them.
then the other part about like title companies would be is any title company can do an easy deal. It's when the deals get tough and you have that relationship with someone. I mean, our title company that we use, they will go to the ends of the earth. That's just the way they are. It wouldn't even matter if it's us or their number one client, but they're very, very good at what they do. And on a title, it's the last thing that people see in a transaction is the closing, the title company. If they mess that up, everything you did up until that point, gone. So
Doesn't matter how good you were.
I have Maureen said she's gonna email you the payoff.
She did.
Okay.
Thank you.
well, we want to see that payoff too.
Sorry.
Honey.
So how about real quickly, we're gonna go over the steps to a successful open house as the way we see it, okay? And I'm gonna kind of go through these little fairly quickly so we can do a question and answer, and then you can ask any question you want, open houses or not. So the first one is make sure you locate a property early in the week as located an area you want to work. So make sure it's an area that you want to do business in. And I say that you want to do it in an area that has a higher density of people in the area than maybe more of a rural area. If it's your own listing, it's rural area, then by all means, but it's simply, it comes down to a numbers game. So if you're in a neighborhood where there's a lot of people, a lot of traffic going by, that's probably going to be a better spot for an open house than a rural area where there not as many cars go through. So that's kind of commonsensical. Cheryl?
Is there a rule that we have to do anything with Real Broker, or can it be with other brokerages?
You can do it. So that we
Yeah.
have that question as the broker. You can do it, but I would not encourage it. It's just going to confuse the consumer. And I would try to find real
Yeah.
broker listings. And if you don't have one, that would give me the fire to go out and get one. And then I would try to stick within your own company. And then and I'm going to leave that to a broker question. So ask your state broker if they have any problems with it.
It's tough out where you guys are. It's hard. I mean,
Yeah, we're just sparse over here in Southwest Michigan. You know
go
that.
out, we go out to, the tri-county area out here and we ask a lot of times for somebody to cover something that's not in our local area that we might have listed. But honestly, my broker answer is I mean, yeah, it would be better if it was a real. I don't think it has to be. Remember how much we are our brand, right? You, Cheryl, are who they're coming to see and meet. So it's kind of,
And let me give you a quick example. So I listed my brother's house up in Grand Rapids in a place called Jennison. And so we reached out and we reached out to your neck of the woods and we asked, did anyone want to hold this open? Cammie Kennedy held it open. And guess what? She sold it. She sold it at the open house. So for all those that say open houses don't sell houses, that two-letter BS thing that I said earlier today, that's it. So the second one is what you want to do is you want to start marketing on social media and make sure to get it listed on all the large portals. Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin. You want to start getting those advertised and you want to make sure it's in the MLS under open houses so it hits those portals. Most of them will get the open house tag 1 to 3 and things like that. Zillow's the only one I know of that is playing around with that and making you do the showcase in order to get the 1 to 3 banner, but sometimes they'll do it. But start getting it out on social media. And then the other part is make sure that you create an event on Facebook. And then also if you're on Instagram, if you're on TikTok, make sure that you're putting it out there too. And what's one of the reasons why we're doing that? We talked about it early on. Why are we doing all these things with your ad? Branding. So we want to get it out there. And guess what it does? Your people on Facebook that see you, they're going, Lindy's doing business. She's out there doing open houses. Wow, she must be busy. We're thinking about selling. I'm going to call Lindy. And perception is reality. Okay? Whether you're doing a lot of business or not, doesn't matter. Make it look like you're doing a lot of business. Okay. And so get all that social media going. And then, we're playing around with a bunch of different things on Instagram, TikTok, and things to see what works, what doesn't work. And we're going to report back to everybody. These are the things that are working for us. You may want to, try to do those. All right. The next one that I love with open houses is do circle marketing or circle prospecting. You can either do it by phone, door hangers, or door knocking. And what I mean by circle marketing is call the people in the neighborhood. So if you're in a neighborhood, it's tough now to cold call or to call, but it works really well because she lasts, because the last time I circled prospect, I came up with 4 listings, 475 plus. I don't like to cold call.
it was probably 10 calls and I remind him constantly
Yep.
because he won't do it.
10 calls, 4 listings, 475 plus. But what I did is I go, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I've been in this business for 25 years and I'm resorting to calling into the neighborhood because I'm not sure if you're aware, but we're holding this house open and nothing's for sale. I'm getting calls left and right. And would you like to come down to the open house and kind of see what's going on? Because you might be able to help me sell the open house and also is going to kind of give you a feel for what's going on in the neighborhood. So you're providing something of value. Hey, come take a look at it because I want you to know what's going on in the neighborhood. I'm providing something of value. And it's a lot easier to call someone when you're providing something of value than, you want to buy or sell real estate. It doesn't come off the same way. But this gives you that opportunity to call or do a door knocker. I'm going to be at the open house Sunday from 1 to 3. I'll come by and see what's going on in your neighborhood. It's always good to have a pulse of your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the neighborhood. And you will get people that will come through and take a look at it and make a connection. Listings too. Make sure you post an open house sign rider early in the week. So if you have a sign in the yard, make sure it says open Sunday 1 to 3. And I know that sounds like a little one, duh, or someone saying duh. I mean, of course you do that. No, not everyone does it. We get that out as soon as we know what time frame. So if someone's driving by, they're going to see it's open, and rather than calling the listing agent to go preview it, I'm just going to come through the open house. All right.
Hey, Dave, on that note, when do you put all the other signs up around that day or the day before, or how long before?
Yeah, so part of it is I've tried a couple different things, like the one I sold and I told you about that I sold the house and got another listing from it. I put it out the day before on that one. But some of these neighborhoods with HOAs and things like that,
Yeah, they get a little finicky.
They will prohibit that. So, but
Or they'll be stolen by somebody who thinks it's really.
but my next point is going to come into that too. So hold on 1 second on that. All right.
You got it.
No,
I'm holding on.
You led
It's
into
there.
it.
It's
Oh my God, you
there.
led into it. Perfect. On the day of the open house, spend the extra time and set up as many frickin' signs as possible. Take the extra 10 minutes to put out 10 signs rather than a couple signs. If you're going to spend 2 hours at an open house, spend the extra 10 minutes to put a shit ton of signs out there. Try to get out to the I mean, I put 10, 12, 15. It takes me 10 extra minutes to do it. If you're going to spend the 2 hours, why not? Get balloons. Put balloons up. Create an event. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying not just an open house. We're trying to create an event for buyers to come through, the neighbors, an extravaganza. Kind of just think about that type of a mentality. All right. Put balloons on the sign and create an event. That was my next one. So here's kind of greeting people when they come in, right?
We do.
Just greet each attendee and introduce yourself. Then I said, let's discuss if having attendees sign in before they tour or after they tour. I've tried both ways. I think we've kind of figured out there's no right or wrong way. Do what's comfortable, but what is the key? What's the key? Conversation, making a connection with them. Try to, and this is a two-way street. Not only are you interviewing them to see if, or they're interviewing you to see if they might be your next realtor, you're interviewing them to see if you even want them to be your next client. That should be the mentality. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do a holdback of information. Gives a reason to contact attendee back and show value. I kind of said, hey, you know what? Would you like to see comps of the area? And I could send it right then and there. I've got a phone, I've got a laptop, but no. Would you like me to send you that information? Would you like a seller's disclosure statement? Would you like to see comps of a different thing? Would you like me to send you other information about other homes available? Right? Yeah, just leave your name. Do you think they're going to give you accurate information if you're going to provide them with something of value? They will. And what are you doing? You're providing them something of value. You're not a salesperson. I'm a real estate professional. I'm gonna provide you something of value. And then the last one is what this is all for. What kind of alluded to it. Follow up. 90% of all realtors aren't going to follow up. Real estate is all about fulfilling your CRM with potential clients. Make sure you have the right follow-up system to stay in touch and create hand raisers. And then this is where AI really helps. So ABCD buyers. For buyers that you just, yeah, or you're not that jazzed about them, put them on an AI, follow up balls. I mean, they'll contact them, look like it's coming from you, but your goal is to fill your CRM up so that you have clients for life. So you're doing all these things, and you're going to get to a day when you don't have to do open houses if you don't want to. You don't have to cold call. You don't. And I've never cold called a day in my life other than the one day when I got those 4 listings, and I did it. I did it well, but guess what? It was exhausting. It was exhausting, and I didn't prefer to do it that way. But yeah, questions.
Yeah, I do have a question. Do you ask people if they're working with a realtor or not?
No,
If they are, they'll
No.
offer.
and you want to know why?
Yes.
Okay. First thing is that most people lie about it. They're
Mhm.
not really, they're not really working with somebody. They're saying that because they don't want you to, they think you're another one of these realtors that's going to spam them. You're going to call them, you're going to text them, you're going to annoy the hell out of them for the rest of their lives. And so they tell you no. Okay. The other part would be is, what does that really mean to be working with a realtor?
Yep, they don't know what it means.
They don't. Do you have an exclusive
they-
buyer agency contract? Have you gone over agency? You want to know one of the things that I got a lot of business on back in the day is when I was doing open houses. And this may be, so I'd have someone come through and I'd say, are you working with a realtor? Yes. Oh, so they've gone over agency with you and what an exclusive buyer agency contract looks like and things like that. Oh, no, they haven't gone over agency. Well, yeah, you have to, I mean, by law, they have to go over this thing called agency. And I mean, before you
The 3
pass any
pricing
confident-
strategies.
Yeah, so before you give any confidential information. Wow, they never told me that. And you want to know what happened a lot of times? I get a call back that week going, they still haven't talked about agency with me. I'm a little nervous that they're not a true real estate professional. Would you work with us?
So don't know when you say agency, what
Sometimes
Or-
that-
or-
relationships again. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that you need to get that lingo out of your conversations and be more clear about those things. You've got to get them out. Get talking like you're just a normal person.
well, the reason I ask is I don't like the yes or no question because you're right. I think they're going to lie. So I might say to them, who are you working with? That way, if they're not working with somebody, they have to stop and think, oh, who would I say? Who's the agent that comes to my mind
Preferred
first?
question in that is, have you seen houses? Have you seen other houses? Yeah, I go
That's-
to a lot of open houses.
Okay, that's a good
somebody-
question.
Well,
That uncovers a ton of stuff.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Also, you want to go in with maybe an open-ended question instead of just like, are you working with somebody? Or you're just kind of out here looking around. That way it can be either or, and they're not kind of stuck on having to answer us a definitive question,
So I don't like to create friction. That to me, that question kind of, then they're like, okay, should I lie? Should I not lie? And things like that. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to establish rapport. And I understand that some people say, well, I don't want to be spending any time trying to build rapport if they're already working with an agent. But I've had it happen. This is where my experience comes into play. I've had that happen so many times where I built the rapport, and then I have an email address. I'd follow up with them afterwards, and if they tell me they have a realtor, then yeah, I have to admit I'm not going to contact them or anything like that because I won't want someone doing that to me. But if I don't have that in my head, I'm going to follow up with them and send them an email saying, hey, thank you so much for attending our open house on Packard. It was wonderful meeting with you. I think it's just so cool how your daughter, is an ice skater and your son's a baseball player and why this is an important area for you because, he wants to be on that baseball team. If there's anything I can do to assist you to help you find that house, let me know. I got to know them. And then my guess is their realtor, most of the time their realtor hasn't gone through a lot of the steps that I do. And then they're going, well, I want to work with this dude. So because most people, when they hear that they're working with a realtor, just shut down, ignore them. And I wouldn't pursue someone that already has a realtor.
Have conversations with your buyers. This is probably a little off the topic. Do you have conversations with your buyers when you know they're out looking at open houses? I know I have generally very strong relationships with people that I'm working with. I don't work with a ton, but I have good relationships, and they're, to use a lack of a better word, they're trained to say, hey, you know what? Kathy's my agent and she sent me over here, and 99% of the agents in this area that are doing an open house know me and know how I act, how I work, what we have here. And they go, oh yeah, great, Kathy. And then they get to decide what kind of conversation they want to have. And it's one of the biggest reasons. And it's a hard thing with real when you're sparse, is know every agent you possibly can in your area. That if the more deals you do, the more you're going to know. But that's why I go to agent, group things, is to make sure agents know who I am.
I think one other little important part about that question, that's a great question, is the other part never do is, and I will have people say, I'm working with Elizabeth Bryan over at Reinhardt. And I go, oh my God, she's amazing. She's a phenomenal agent. You are so lucky to have her. You chose well. And I go out of my way to just reinforce that and things like that. Never badmouth. Really? Why would you want to? Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. I totally get you. Absolutely. No, she's a great agent, things like that. Because all we have in our industry is our name and our reputation. And if you badmouth somebody, you are done. So
Right. On that same note, Dave, what I do a lot of times is I'll give if I have a buyer under contract, if they want to go see an open house, I'll say, here's a bunch of my cards. And then we could say, yeah, I'm working with John Stokes with a Real Broker. And they'll be like, oh man, they got their clients, he's got his client lined up, ready to go. This guy's something to be reckoned with,
And all you have is your name and your reputation. So, hey, John does it the right way. And that will get you offers accepted in multiple offer situations and things like that as well.
All right.
So I know we're at 1:54. So I have to ask a real quick question. What are some topics y'all would like to hear us discuss? Thanks, Lindy. What are some topics y'all would like to have? Would you like to see on episodes of this workshop? Is there anything that people need help with?
I'll toss out a couple of things. Dave's one of the best pricing and negotiators in the world. That's probably one thing he can talk like for days about. Leverage.
And then what about like team building or lead generation sources? How we get listings. I'm a listing specialist. That's all I do now. Team building, negotiations.
Yeah. Maybe you can help me out,
John,
Dave.
sorry. John had it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I had a thought. So
we interrupted you.
I'm solo. I'm in the Chicagoland area, right outside Chicago mostly. I also have a W-2. That's where I'm at now. And so lead generation would be optimal if you could kind of give me some tidbits on that.
Always.
And I need my CRM. I really need to dial that in too. So I think that goes hand in hand.
Well, I think one of our we're going to have, believe it, as you can tell, I like to dominate conversations, but Kathy is wonderful at setting up systems. Why we're so successful is because Kathy and I are basic opposites of each other. Her strengths are my weaknesses are her strengths. Even though she'll tell you she has no weaknesses, but she does. We just don't talk about them. But anyway,
What?
systems and setting those up, to me, is the infrastructure of your business is the key. It's like building a house and having a strong foundation. Everything else, nothing else works if you don't have a strong foundation. That's,
Yep.
For CRM, John?
Lofty. Sorry,
It's
can you
a-
guys hear me okay?
yes, yep.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's,
I've been
that's
having
a,
issues with my earbuds.
yep, so that's definitely a good one while you're still soloing things, and as you grow businesses, it's good to look at different CRMs. We use Follow Up Boss, but we're,
Mhm.
Essentially the same.
we're a team of, in the other part for us, the pain of switching everything over to Lofty was just, we didn't want to go through that.
Right, right.
But we fiddle a lot with different lead generation techniques to see what works, what doesn't work, and how to engage those clients. So that might be good, good as well. What general questions does anybody have? Is there anything that someone has a question about that would like us to answer?
Well, I have one in regards to the open houses. So I've
Sure.
done flyers. Do you recommend doing those? I've also
Absolutely.
door knocked. And that has worked really well. I just have found timing to door knock sometimes is hard. So any suggestion or
thing,
quick tips on that?
It's tough with the way society is right now to I think door knocking, and truthfully from for myself, from a safety issue, is just what's on the other side of that door. But I think door hangers, if you can go out and make some door hangers, I think those are great because they will see those and that will help you with your branding. But the reason that the circle marketing, I think, works in in this situation is you're basically letting people know that they may not even know the house is for sale. And you say, hey, I just want to let you know that we
Yeah.
just listed the house down the street. This is what it's priced at. Oh my God, really? Our prices are like that? And then you just, it will bring up a conversation. And so you're providing value to what's going on in the neighborhood, values, and then you never know when someone's thinking about buying or selling. And one of these days we'll talk about reticular activating system, which for geographical farming is huge. We're big geographical farmers. It's not as good as it used to be, but we used to send out a 5,000 piece mailing for 2,500 bucks, and we get 10 listings from it, $50 to $100,000 in GCI.
Make sure you have something for people to leave with. I mean, if you're doing a flyer, I mean, obviously you can do it for free. You can do those things. And there are people that are smarter social media wise than I am of how to get your information into neighborhoods. Just by joining things if they let you, but make sure you've got something to hand them, probably besides your business card when they walk out the door.
And make sure it's consistent with your brand. Make sure it's branded and consistent with your brand. And if it's your listing, make sure that it's very easy to tell that it's your listing. You're the person there. And then all this crazy thing called real estate, it's all about building your brand. It's all about building your brand. And your brand is not Real Broker. Your brand is not Real Broker. If I move this a little bit to you, you can see Real here. This is the brand that makes business for us. DMA Real Estate. I can go to any brokerage in the world and they're going to recognize DMA Real Estate. And so I've been through 3 iterations of branding, and it is the key to real estate, becoming the Kleenex of realtors. So always, whatever you do, keep that at the top of mind.
Heard Sharon say.
Do you guys have, what do you use? Like, do you have a system you use for circle prospecting or?
For which
Or like
prospect?
a platform, a platform or a system you use for circle prospecting, or you just?
Well, a lot of stuff is in
Mojo
your,
Dialer is what we used to use.
but that's just a dialer. And 90% of that, everybody's on the do not call list. There's probably in your
MLS, there's ways to get people's names and stuff, so you can do that. You can do it on public record as well and try to reach out, but there's dialers to call. Again, we're just not big on calling. Even our follow-up bus will tell us somebody's in a do not call list, so it's just not there, but there's a lot of places, mostly MLS and public record, we use more because Mojo it's just not worth it anymore because everybody's on a do not call list.
Well, and then now with all the fines that are coming down, they're supposed to go into effect last year. They're gonna be breaking down and they're not gonna just slap your hand anymore. So it's gonna be something that, it's gonna be something that I want to be very, very careful of.
We do emails that we pull from RPR, no, what is it?
PPR.
RPR.
Not
Yeah.
RPR.
And then
but
Remind
there's
too is a good one.
Remind, we still have Remind through
It's-
one of our MLSs,
and-
but yeah, Remind's great to get information, especially emails and addresses.
And we have
And
somebody
they
in
got a
our
new one too
office.
called the Realist come out.
Yeah, we do.
That's a newer
too.
one.
I haven't gotten into that much.
And we'll have
Yeah,
we have
they're far away.
someone with our office that's really good about, she'll figure out email addresses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then she'll
that's
just
on
send,
Remind.
she'll send something into the neighborhood for the open house. I don't know how I think she gets it from that information.
Well, I need somebody like that. How do I get somebody like that?
How do you get somebody?
Money talks.
Well, what you'll find is leverage is the greatest thing in real estate. And the thing is that, yeah, but you gotta get to, I spent a lot of time yesterday with someone that wants to build a team and he's not ready to build the team. So you need to get to a certain point, but I mean, you can get an AI assist, or not an AI assistant, a virtual assistant, to do all that for you, Elena. Yeah, you can get a virtual
For sure.
assistant to be able to do all that for you.
Yep.
And it's cheap.
I
But
looked into that, but I just felt like I haven't found the right companies. I don't know if anybody recommends anyone, but I just,
Well,
Who are
we're
you
in the
with?
process. Go ahead.
Is
John?
she with Real? I'm sorry.
John, I can't believe that you don't recognize me from Therese Academy.
I don't see you.
Oh,
Where you
I know
at?
what, I
yeah,
think
you're
my,
kind of in the dark.
Oh,
it must have froze. I'm sorry, guys. Well, that makes, no wonder why.
Elena?
Yeah, you are frozen. You've been frozen the whole time, Elena.
Oh,
Oh, it's Elena.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought I recognized your voice. Yes.
But
Yeah,
it's,
So
but the other
in
part
Grand-
you
in
can do
Grand
is you can advertise locally. I mean, you can probably be able to find someone initially to be able to do something like that for 10 to 12 bucks an hour to go through and do all that stuff for you. But I mean, you gotta get to a point where it's worthwhile for you to be able to do that. But that's part of the team building process.
Yeah.
The first hire for anybody is an amazing administrative person that you can grow into being the operations manager.
Elena, get out on Work Vivo. I guarantee you'll get some great
Okay.
suggestions.
Yep.
Everybody
For sure.
has a lot. I mean, well, we all like to tell everybody we know more than they do. So, you'll get some good suggestions. I guarantee. I mean, Sharon I can't even remember the name of that company. It was always,
Well,
it was pricey.
Yeah,
It was pricey.
but that was a virtual assistant as far as calling people. So that's a whole different ballgame.
Well, but no, they do everything.
Sure.
They can do that.
You might be talking about Sheridan Street and
No.
no? Tracy?
Not just for a VA. No, not Sheridan Street, because I do a lot of stuff with
Yeah,
Vikram as well. So
So
Yeah.
Sharon has something where he's given them their scripts and they're overseas in the Philippines. And it's a company.
they do everything.
Yeah.
It's an aid.
Is there anything that Sharon doesn't do?
No,
No.
he doesn't. He doesn't. There's nothing he doesn't do.
Just to have his energy level would be
Yeah.
nice.
Seriously.
Is there any
For sure.
other questions about open houses? Or any other things with business? Or any other suggestions of what people would like to hear about from a blowhard like myself and but knowledgeable blowhard?
The one thing that I like to do also with an open house in regards to like the signs, when somebody comes and walks in, I'll ask them, did you see your signs, on the website, or did you see them or just passing by? That way you kind of know, are they a neighbor, or are they just kind of looky-loos, or are they actually people on a website doing real research, looking for a house? That way you can kind of break them up a little bit more and see if they're really wanting to buy.
Leads you to your next question then.
On my sign-in sheet, that I do use now, where did you find out about this open house? Was it Zillow? Was it homes.com? Was it signs? Because that's important for you to figure out what marketing dollars are working and not working as well.
Right.
So you can start to, so I do ask, I actually ask them, where did you find out about the open house? Because that also is a great leading question.
Yeah.
Just to get general information, and it really starts great conversations as well.
Mhm.
All right.
Who's playing baseball behind you there?
That's my son. That's in, you guys were mentioning the, I think that's the Field of Dreams. So I figured I'd put that in there to.
I was just watching
That's-
Field of
that's my
Dreams
son.
last
That-
night.
That's better than
Play for Iowa?
the real background I have. What's that?
Does he play for Iowa? No, he doesn't look that big.
No, he's not playing for Iowa. He's playing in Iowa at this
Oh.
particular field right here.
Yeah.
So. It's just one of the
That's
shots.
cool.
Just one of the shots I put for my background. I think David had a little bit of what do you call it when you see something and you say, because you mentioned baseball and volleyball?
Reticular.
Reticular activator, if you would.
Activating System.
Your
Yep.
reticular activator kicked in.
Well,
Mine's
Yeah, that's
Always.
that.
well, we appreciate everybody coming, and then we're going to be doing this every week, and then we'll advertise.
I thought it was every other week.
No, it's every week. We
Thank you
will,
guys. I appreciate it.
yeah, we'll be,
Come on back.
we'll be advertising the topic, end of this week, and, hope to see you on future, broadcasts.
Thank
Sounds good.
you. Miss
Have a
you
great day.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Or, well,
Thank you.
Bye.